Gemini, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? What is good with you? Time for your weekly check-in. We're going to see what's going on with you guys for the 5th and final week of October. October week 5. So if any of you are in need of a personal reading, if you want, you can just go straight to my website, tarotwithrich.com. I do have a link for that right down here in the description of this video. And also, quick friendly reminder to everyone, I am not active on TikTok or Twitter at all. Yes, I do have accounts over there. I just don't use them. I've just never really been able to get into those two platforms. They just don't interest me. So that is not me following and messaging people over there. Looks like they decided to take to TikTok and Twitter because Instagram and Facebook wasn't working. So do what y'all always used to do and just block and report them. Appreciate you. All right, let's jump into this. Let's see how the energy's looking between Gemini and the person they're dealing with. 5th week of October. How's the energy looking? Ooh, Empress reversed. Some of y'all could have kids with this person, I guess. Hang on. Ooh, 9 of Wands. Well, this definitely isn't a very stable connection. I don't think y'all are finding any kind of stability here. Feels like somebody... Wait a minute. Didn't we already talk about this? Somebody giving you the silent treatment. If I remember correctly, I'm like 90% sure that was you last week. Still giving you the silent treatment with their guard up. And it almost kind of feels to me like they are pretty confident that the silent treatment is going to work. You know? Because now, I don't know, maybe some people misunderstand what the silent treatment is. Because I've had people come to me and tell me, oh, we got into an argument. He said, I'm done. And he left. Now he's giving me the silent treatment. I'm like, if he said he was done and he's the one that chose to leave, I don't know if that would be the silent treatment. The silent treatment is typically referred to as a very passive-aggressive manipulation tactic, you know, to basically wrestle the power into their hands, you know. So when somebody's giving you the silent treatment, what they're hoping is that that's going to get you to come chasing after them, you know. So they seem pretty confident they're waiting on you. And they're not waiting with open arms, though. No, they're not. So they are doing things to try to get your attention, too, 100%. So if you're wondering whether or not that post was directed towards you, 100%. 100%. But honestly, I'm not really seeing anybody doing anything to overcome any blocks in communication. And that's good. When somebody's giving you the silent treatment, you shouldn't. Don't give them what they want. You know, when you do that, that teaches them how to manipulate you. So anyway, some of y'all dealing with an Aries. I also have Taurus, Libra. You know, it could be anybody. Those are just energies. Let's see their truest feelings and intentions. What's their energy look like in general? What kind of person are they? Are you surprised to see that jump out? If you're dealing with somebody that had an addiction issue and you're curious, no, they are not clean. Matter of fact, I would go as far as to say they've gotten worse. Could be a Capricorn for some of you. Page of Cups. So they do miss what you all had back in the day, or just whenever you all were brand new. You know, I think they miss what y'all used to have. But see, here's the thing. I don't even know if I know how to explain this right. Well, so first of all, you know that this individual is a very service to self individual. And the only way I can think to explain this energy is they play the victim and they believe that if you would just do things their way, it would work. That's the only explanation I can come up with when I see this energy come through. If you would do things my way, this would work. If you would stop doing this and you would start doing that, you would stop doing things this way and start doing things that way. You, right? So they play the victim. I do think they want to be with you, but I don't think they're in love with you. I think this person is incredibly emotionally immature. Because we got all these pages, dude. All these pages and the devil. I do not have a single king or queen. Page of Swords reverse. They do keep a very... I would probably go as far as to say they keep an obsessive eye on you. Or at least they try. I don't know if you have a social media that can be spied on, but, you know, whatever a person can do to try to keep tabs on you and see what you got going on. Maybe they know people who know people who know people who know you, and they try to get information from the grapevine. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, their general energy, that's the first card that jumped out. That doesn't really look to me. And now, okay, so having said all that, when somebody embodies that energy, what's usually the reason? Because deep down inside, this person is a mess. A mess, a complete and total wreck. You know? A lot of unhealed trauma. And for some of you, you may be dealing with somebody that uses that as an excuse to guilt trip you, right? I know that's not all of you, but I feel like it's one or two of you. Uses their past trauma as an excuse and a license to be a shitty person. Guilt trips you over it. You're a bad person. You should let me treat you like shit. You don't know what I've been through. I'm allowed to treat you like shit because something happened to me a long time ago. That type of energy. I don't know who needs to hear this, but nobody has a license to treat you like shit. You are not obligated to be anyone's emotional punching bag, okay? You have every right to tell them to fuck the fuck off, okay? Just saying. Let's get the advice. Well, if you are wanting communication anytime soon, it's going to have to be you that initiates it. But just know what you're stepping into. Just know what you're stepping into. You know me. If you're new to my channel, I try to avoid telling you what you should or should not do. I'm not saying I never do. I just try to avoid it. My ideal way of giving advice is not to just tell you don't do that. I'm not just going to tell you to stay away from that hot stove. I'll tell you if you touch it, it's going to burn the piss out of you. Do what you want. Do what you want. It's hot as shit. Boy, you touch that motherfucker, you going to regret it. But go ahead, do what you want. And, hey, sometimes people got to keep touching that stove. Just don't turn into one of those people who's been touching that stove for the past 10 years thinking it's going to be cold one day. No, it's not. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. All right. It's gear shifting time now. Let's see what's happening with your love interest, person that you're interested in. Some of you dealing with a Leo. What's happening between Gemini and their love interest? 5th week of October 2025. Fool card reversed. Ooh, disappointment. Damn, dog. And a lot of waiting. A lot of waiting. Now, this is a pretty intense connection, at least on your end. This feels like a really intense connection. When you have a really intense connection, and where'd it go? Where'd it go? I just had it. Oh. No forward movement. What do you get? Tension building. And if tension builds too long, what normally happens? I don't think this is happening. This did come out in the reverse. I'm just saying. Tension builds too long, eventually it's going to blow. Now, does this person know that you're interested in them? If you come to me for a personal reading and you get the general personal reading for your love interest, I'll have you answer that question. Does this person know you're interested in them? Now, when this comes up, that tells me that either A, they have no idea you're interested, or B, they don't know just how interested you are, you know? Like maybe you've told them, but either they don't take you seriously, or maybe you didn't do a very good job really translating your feelings, or maybe the two of you are just such a vibrational mismatch that, you know, you could spend your whole life trying to translate your soul to this person and they just can't pick up what you're putting down. I don't know, but the textbook definition of this card would tell me that this person has no clue you're interested in them. So I'm going to leave that up to you. But Empress reversed, Fool reversed. They don't look like much and nothing's happening here. I was wondering when this was going to come out. All right. When you got a connection like this and nothing's happening, it's going to start weighing you down. Okay. Well, we're kind of talking in circles now, so let's see how they feel about you. Eight of Wands. Why does it seem like every time I start shuffling for your love interests, feelings, the weirdest card always jumps out first thing? Eight of Wands. What's the point of that jumping out first thing? Hang on. Ten of Pentacles, Six of Wands. I fucking knew it, dude. Hang on, let me fix my curtain real quick. Okay, so whenever I read a new connection or a potential new connection, what comes out? Every fucking time, like clockwork. The past. Every time, dude. Every time. Every time. Past energy. Every time. I mean, it shouldn't come as a surprise to me because, you know, I know full well that most people have absolutely no idea how to heal. But, I mean, the weird thing is that it almost looks as if not only are people not healing, but I get not knowing how to heal, okay? I come from a long line of mental illness, depression, being suicidal, being on medication, being in and out of therapists, psychologists, psychiatrist offices since I was 4. I get it. I know, I understand some trauma, okay? But at least, my thing is, I would at least try to push it away and bury it, you know? I would at least try to forget about it. Seems like people ain't even trying to do that. I don't know, man. So it looks like this person is mainly looking for somebody, not just somebody, but in general, I think this person's very materialistic, to try to cover up past heartbreak. Now, I don't care what your intentions are. I don't think this person has bad intentions. I don't think they're consciously and intentionally trying to play games or manipulate you. I wouldn't say that. But when you're trying to connect with somebody and you got this fucking heartbreak that you're holding on to from the past, by default, your guard is going to be up. You ain't letting nobody get close to that, right? So I'll use my good old Android analogy. This person reminds me of an Android phone from 2018. Remember them old shits? I got one right here, actually. Remember these old shits? This is what I started this YouTube channel with. $150 Samsung Galaxy J7 from Walmart. When I very first sat down and recorded my first tarot videos, it was on one of these fuckers right here. And if you try to take too many pictures and videos on this motherfucker right here, eventually it'll get so full that you can't even take another picture. You can't download a new app. You can't do nothing because it's too full of bullshit. And a lot of people turn into a 2018 Android phone. They got so much unprocessed bullshit, unresolved, unfinished trauma, energy, all this shit. They're like a karmic snowball. They can't connect with anyone at a deep level. They can't. They're incapable of it. Even though I think they want to, they can't. You know? Let's get the advice. What's the advice? What's the advice? Is this deck going to talk to me? What's the advice? 3 shuffle. 1, 2, and 3. Damn, dog. Don't let it turn into a sex-based connection. Don't do that. A decision needs to be made here. Don't let it turn into a sex-based connection. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't extend or accept any offers at all until you are 100% confident that you know what their intentions are. I would not. So if you come to me for a personal reading, the general reading for your love interest, another question that I'll have you ask is, how long have you been dealing with this person? It shouldn't take much longer. Well, it shouldn't take any longer at all than a month to figure out where a connection is going. All right? What do you think, and I know this is like really subjective and it's hard to throw a blanket over things like this, but what do you think would be the ideal amount of time that the talking phase should last? You know, if you're out there, you're wanting to get to know somebody, I'm all for the talking phase, 100%. But how long should that last? Just, you know, just kind of common sense. How long should it take me to figure out whether or not I really want to take this to the next level? Personally, I think somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks. And I guess that would vary also depending on how much time you're able to spend around them, how often you communicate, you know, somewhere in the ballpark of around 2 to 3 weeks, a month at the max. A month at the max. I'm not saying that y'all should be fucking married after a month. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying y'all should be moved in together and engaged, and we all know a lot of people out there like to roll like that. I'm not saying that. I know I have a Facebook friend that's actually an old childhood friend I haven't seen in like 30 years. And I'm friends with this dude on Facebook. And he had been like married or in this really, really, really long-term relationship for like the last 15 years or so. And then ended up getting out of that relationship, moving back home. And then within like a matter of a couple of weeks was engaged to be married. And then after less than 2 months was already married to somebody new. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Some people roll like that, you know? Well, don't let it string on too long. If you've been dealing with this person longer than 1 month, I wouldn't let it go past Halloween. If it hasn't been longer than a month, if it's only been like a week or two, I mean, I would make sure that in the first 30 days, you know where this is going. You have a good idea of, are we even going to be together? Are we taking things to the next level? But if y'all been talking, and you know what I see more often than anything else in my personal readings? 6 months, 9 months, 10 months, a year and a half. I must be missing something. I mean, I am happily married to my divine life partner. We've been together going on 7 years now. I've been out of the dating game for a long time. So I don't know if it's just that or if I'm just that out of touch with the world. I could not imagine that for a fucking minute. Dealing with a love interest that knows that I want to be with them and letting them string me along for 6 fucking months. I couldn't imagine that. Couldn't imagine that. You know? So if you've been dealing with this person longer than a month, I wouldn't let it go past Halloween. Halloween night, if you still have no fucking clue where this connection is going, I would drop it all together. Okay? All right, y'all. I feel like those were the messages that my Gemini family needed to hear. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Thanks again for tuning in and playing along. Don't forget, information for personal readings is all down here in the description. All right? I'm out of here now, y'all. I will see you sometime between now and the rest